Russian President Vladimir Putin warned the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, that there will be consequences if it authorizes Ukraine to attack the Russian territory. In Brazil, flooding continues in the state of Rio Grande do Sul due to heavy rainfall in the southern region. In Argentina, teachers in the province of Misiones continue for a third week to strike, demanding salary increases and better working conditions. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In Palestine, Israeli army tanks arrived to the center of Rafah for the first time since the beginning of the Zionist regime war against the Gaza Strip. The Israeli army continues its assault against the city of Rafah despite the order issued by the International Court of Justice that urged it to stop the offensive. According to the Gaza Civil Defense, the occupation forces continued their bombardment and artillery attacks on the region. The Gaza Health Ministry warned that in the last 24 hours, at least 46 people have been killed by the genocidal occupation, with authorities detailing that the total number of deaths since October 7, 2023 in Gaza increased to more than 36,000 people. And European Union foreign ministers unanimously agreed on Monday to call for an association council with Israel to discuss the country's compliance with its human rights obligations under the EU-Israel trade deal, also known as the association agreement. The bloc also intends to use the meeting to confront Netanyahu's government about its complaints with Friday's ruling by the International Court of Justice, which ordered Israel to halt its attempts military offensive in the city of Rafah. The move comes 3 months after Spanish Premier Pedro Sánchez and Foreign Minister of Ireland Leo Varadkar first made a plea for the urgent review of the EU-Israel Association Agreement, citing serious concern over Israel's military campaign in Gaza and potential violations of human rights and international law.
Killing and burning more than 40 people, among them many children. You can imagine how horrified we are, all of us, for these sad events. The ICJ is the highest court of the United Nations system. All members of the United Nations have the obligation to comply with these decisions. We at the European Union, we have been built from the ruins of the Second World War and been always a strong supporter of the International Court of Justice.
On Tuesday, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez officially recognized the state of Palestine, thus joining the decision also taken by more than 140 countries.
I stand before you all to inform you that at today's meeting of the Council of Ministers, the government of Spain will approve the official recognition of the state of Palestine. Spain thus joins the more than 140 countries in the world that already recognize Palestine as a state. A historic decision that has only one objective, and that is to contribute to Israelis and Palestinians to achieve peace.
The Spanish Prime Minister asserted that the decision is in line with the two-state solution as the only way to achieve peace in the Middle East.
The recognition of the State of Palestine is not only a matter of historical justice for the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people. It is an urgent necessity if we all want to achieve peace. It is the only way to move towards a solution that we all recognize as the only possible way to a peaceful future. That of a Palestinian state living side by side with the State of Israel in peace and security.
In Paris, over 10,000 protesters rallied on Monday against the latest massacre perpetrated by Israel in the refugee camp in Rafah. Following the latest news concerning the death of over 40 refugees in Rafah, the Paris inhabitants expressed their sympathy for the Palestinian people and accused the government of Benjamin Netanyahu of handling a genocide in the Gaza Strip against innocent people, women, and elderly, and children.
I am here because, like many French people, I am very shocked by what happened yesterday in Rafah. It's a provocation on the part of the Israeli government, because a few days after the decision of the International Court of Justice enjoining Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel to cease their aggression against the Palestinians in Gaza, bombs fell on the heads of civilians, a stone's throw from the headquarters of the United Nations. So this is a very strong provocation.
And in China, during a press conference held on Tuesday by a spokesperson from the country's foreign ministry, the nation expressed its grave concern following the Israeli attack that killed thousands of people in a displaced person camps in Rafah.
China's position on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is consistent and clear. We oppose any action that violates international law, including international humanitarian law. We ask all parties to protect civilians and civilian facilities and strongly urge Israel to heed the call of the international community and stop the offensive on the Rafah. The world needs to work together to de-escalate and end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Let's take a very first break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. Russian President Vladimir Putin warns the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO that there will be consequences if it authorizes Ukraine to attack the Russian territory. Putin's statements were made at the conclusion of his state visit to Uzbekistan. The Russian leader points out that an escalation of the Ukrainian conflict will entail serious consequences which could reach the European countries. He also reminded that the representative of the NATO members countries, especially the small countries of Europe, should be aware of what they are playing with because they have a small territory with a dense population. And in Brazil, flooding continues in the state of Rio Grande do Sul due to heavy rainfalls in the southern region. The persistent rains and south winds have caused an important increase in the water levels in the state. Also in the capital, Porto Alegre, residents of the Alchera neighborhood are demanding solutions from the city's mayor's office in view of the flooding scenario suffering by the community. Rainfall records in Porto Alegre were broken this month of May. For the first time, the capital city registered more than 500 millimeters of rain in only 30 days, reaching for 4% of the rainfall registered in the whole year.
We are here in the Anchieta neighborhood, forgotten. The mayor's office forgot this neighborhood. We have been unable to enter the company for more than 24 days. Water came in and we lost everything. We are a small company working to survive and we have no work. We need someone to come and tell us what we are going to do because everything is at a standstill.
There is a problem in the pumping station and the water is coming back through the channel that should be the outlet. So the pumping station is flooded and that makes it difficult to install the pumps. But we are here with the community trying to find all the alternatives to isolate the pumping station, install the engines and pump the water.
Meanwhile, Brazilian health authorities report at least 900 suspect cases of leptospirosis and 5 deaths from the disease in Rio Grande do Sul. According to the briefings from the state health department, there are have been 1,588 reports to date, with 124 confirmed cases and 9 deaths still being investigated. Officials point out that this infectious disease is transmitted through contact by water contaminated with animal urine, representing a serious health risk in the areas affected by the flooding. And the health secretary of the state of Nuevo León in northern Mexico confirmed that the heat wave currently affecting the country has left at least 4 people dead. The phenomenon that has brought temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius to the nation has caused the passing of 4 men between the ages of 25 and 44. At the same time, authorities reported that 115 people were treated for heat strokes, 5 from burns and 42 for dehydration. This third heat wave, which began on May 20, comes just days after the second, which occurred from May 3rd to 13 and left at least 34 deaths, and in addition to 10 cities with record temperatures, among them the Mexico capital. The Meteorological Office of Pakistan revealed that temperatures exceeding 52 degrees Celsius in the southern province of Sindh on Monday. According to the Institute of Temperatures, records was registered in Mohenjo-daro City. It was the highest of the current summer and close to the country's all-time high of 54 degrees Celsius. The heat wave is expected to continue for at least a few more days as doctors treat heat stroke victims in hospitals across Pakistan and call on people to stay indoors.
We're here to bathe and save ourselves from this extreme heat. The temperature here is around 49 degrees Celsius. We've had 18 hours of blackouts in our homes. The ones we voted for, our legislators have generators in their houses. We feel humiliated. The canal water is the only option we have to keep cool.
At least 21 people were killed on Tuesday after a stone quarry collapsed due to heavy rains caused by the tropical storm in the northwest of the country. The Mizoram Police Director General reported that rescue teams continue to work to locate and rescue people who might be under the rubble. According to the authorities, the quarry had been inactive for almost 3 decades, but heavy rainfall caused landslides affecting several roads in the area. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to join us on our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on the screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with teleSUR. One financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Argentina, teachers in the province of Misiones continue for a 3rd week with roadblocks, demonstrations, and assemblies to demand a salary increase. The Front of Education Workers in struggle denounced that educators have low salaries, which do not allow them to face the high inflation in the country and the complex socio-economic situation. The mobilized workers call for a halt to the starvation policy promoted by the government of Javier Milei and assure that there are enough resources to improve the quality of life of the Argentine teachers. Also in Argentina, the government of Javier Milei removed energy subsidies, which led to increasing prices of electricity and gas. The government decreed a gradual phase out of state aid for the energy from June the 1st to November the 30th, a period that could be shortened once if Milei deems it's necessary. Furthermore, authorities are expected to discuss on Tuesday whether to approve a rise in energy costs for large businesses and industries as well as high-income households. In Venezuela, the 17th Ordinary General Assembly of Indigenous Peoples and Communities is underway. The forum that will be held until Monday 29 in Caracas, the capital of the country, brings together representatives of 60 indigenous and governmental delegations from 22 Latin American and Caribbean countries. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss strategic policies that benefit women, youth, and the economic growth and social and cultural development of the region's indigenous people. In Brazil, the landless movement held the traditional agrarian reform fair, a proposal that excels the country's diversity in response to the monoculture of agribusiness. The fair was held in Campinas, a municipality in Sao Paulo, and featured gastronomy, music, books, sentences, seminars, and the commercialization of more than 10 tons of food from different regions of the country. The movement also invited participants to an event of dialogue between the countryside and the city, where one of the main themes will be the production of healthy food in the movement's camps and settlements. The event aims to broaden the discussions with society in the issue of agrarian reform in the most populated state of the country.
La Feria de la Reforma Agraria.
The Agrarian Reform Fair in Sao Paulo, the first one to be held here in the cultural space of Campinas. It is a very important experience because we brought to the fair more than 250 different products, 10 tons of food, 12 kitchens with diverse cuisine from all the regions of the state of Sao Paulo, 25 large cultural activities and a significant turnout from the population.
And the Ecuadorian municipality of Duran authorities report a blast near the municipal government headquarters on Monday, the latest in a serious attacks in the country. In an official statement, the mayor's office denounced the act, including another attempt explosion of a vehicle in the vicinity of the town, as well as an armed attack on the offices of the transit authority. In both incidents, authorities respond immediately and register significant material damage but do not injure or death. And now shifting topics, for Latin American female boxers throws in their matches at the Pre-Olympic Boxing Championship in Bangkok and continue their keys for a place in Paris 2024. In the 75 kilograms division, Colombians Charlitins Orozco defeated Ainur Retseva of Azerbaijan 3-0, while Venezuelan Perelis Iriza defeated Vietnamese Diem Kutlu 5-0. Mexican Citlali Vanessa Ortiz dominated Australian Diana Reid by the unanimous decision. And finally, the Brazilian Vivian Pereira won by the split vote for the against United States boxer Naomi Graham. This tournament, the last boxing qualifier for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, will be held until June the 2nd. And as the Roland Garros French Open reached its third day of competitions, let's review the outstanding Argentinian tennis players performing at the tournament.
The first to celebrate was Sebastián Baez, the main Argentinian racket, who played for almost 4 hours to defeat in 5 sets the Brazilian Gustavo Heide by 4-6, 6-3, 6-1, 4-6 and 6-3, thus advances to the next round where he will face the Austrian Sebastian Ofner. Another tennis player that achieved victory was Francisco Cerúndolo, who defeated the German Yannick Hanfmann in a match of 1 hour and 58 minutes of 3 sets of 6-3, 6-3 and 6-4. And now he will face the Austrian Filip Misalik On the other hand, some athletes from the South American nation who didn't reach the next phase were Pedro Cachin, who fell in 3 sets of 62, 63, and 61 against the American Tommy Paul, and Julia Riera, who lost to the Romanian Irina Begu in a double set of 62. The tournament that started on May 26, its competition phase, will host some of the best tennis players of the world until June 9th.
And now we go to the world of the NBA, where the Boston Celtics were crowned kings of the Eastern Conference after beating the Indiana Pacers in the game 4 by the score of 105 against 102.
Boston Celtics, who were arguably the strongest team of the regular season, swept Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, this after winning all 4 games of the key. The Celtics will play in the NBA Finals for the 23rd time and have the chance to break the tie they have with the Los Angeles Lakers, for the franchise with 17 rings and the most wins in the history of the NBA. Now the Green Team awaits the winner of the Western Conference Finals, where the Dallas Mavericks leads the series 3-0 over the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And with that stories, we have come to the end of this brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.